Welcome to the Published Author Podcast, where we help entrepreneurs learn how to write a book and leverage it to grow their business and make an impact. I'm your host, Josh Steimle. Today, our guest is Laura Sprinkle. Laura is an affiliate partnership strategist who specializes in working with digital course creators. She's helped clients including Amy Porterfield, Todd Herman, and Selena Sue generate more than $15 million in partner revenues. She's the host of her own podcast, The Laura Sprinkle Show, and the co-author of a best-selling anthology. So she understands the author side of things too. Laura, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. So we're excited to be here.
I'm excited to talk to you. I was telling Laura before the show started, I've got so many questions just for myself about this. And when we talk about partnership opportunities and affiliate opportunities, this is something that's exciting for me because I don't really like selling all that much. I enjoy writing content, but when it comes to like actually going out and getting the sales and doing the sales, I'm like, I know I need to do this, but I don't like doing it. And so I'm excited about this because this is a way that we can enlist other people to help us out with that. And I'm sure some of our listeners are not that comfortable with selling or marketing, and they would love to be able to recruit a team of people who can help them do that. So I'm excited to dive into that. But before we get into the meat of things and talk about partnership opportunities and affiliate programs, tell us a little bit more about yourself, Laura. Who are you? Where are you from? And how did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, thank you so much, Josh. So I live in Maine, right outside of Portland, Maine. It is an amazing place to be. Everybody should come. My goal is to get everybody to move to Maine. I mean, not really, because then it wouldn't be so green and spacious.
And it wouldn't be Maine anymore, huh?
Right, exactly.
But they should at least visit, right?
At least visit, totally. And I feel like even just the fact that I just said that really speaks to my personality, which I love making friends and I love gathering with my friends and having a good time. And that is kind of how I got started on the affiliate marketing side of things. I was really focused on product launches, so helping course creators launch for their first 5-figure launches. So, bare bones basics. And then I started working with Selena, doing her first 7-figure launch. And it was like, wow, this is such an amazing world. She had a few partners on board, and then they asked me to come run the affiliate program. I didn't know that it was an industry. I didn't know what that meant, but I loved launching. I loved marketing. So I said, sure. And then I just fell in love with it because it is about gathering this group of people that all believes in something and getting to share that with the world and not do it alone, right? Like you said, like you don't want to seem salesy or take your product or your book out into the world and tell everybody, you should buy this thing. But if a group of people is saying, I had a transformation by reading this and you need to read it too, like that feels so much better already. And then at the end of 2019, after Amy Porterfield's Digital Course Academy launch, through her launch, I was the affiliate manager, but I was so inspired by every single webinar. I was on every one that she did. And I was like, I have to turn this into a course myself. And so that's how I created Wreck Your Affiliate Program to really serve the people that aren't doing 7-figure launches, but can use partnerships to get there.
So I'm a big fan of Amy Porterfield. I'm always recommending her stuff to everybody. I'm like, you got to listen to this podcast. You got to read her stuff, her resources. This is so good. You should join her courses. How did you get connected with her in the first place?
Yeah. So I had, listened to her podcast and I had signed up for one of her courses many years ago on webinars. But how I got connected with her, I remember this was the summer of 2019. And I looked on my calendar and it was like, wow, I have a Zoom meeting with Amy Porterfield later today. This feels so surreal. But that happened because when I was doing an affiliate program, I was in front of a lot of affiliates. And so one of Selena's affiliates connected me with Amy when she was looking for someone. So once you start getting into partnerships and thinking about your business through the lens of partnerships and relationships, you can just go so much further, so much faster.
All about who you know, huh?
Yeah.
So I want you to answer one question for me real quick, which is partnership program versus affiliate program. Is this just two different names for the same thing, or is there a difference between these two?
Yeah, that's such a great question. One I've been really diving into recently, because a lot of people say, well, I don't have a course, I can't create an affiliate program. And that's not true. For me, partner program is more of an all-encompassing word. Like you could have a business partner where you're literally co-founded the business together and you're partners and you're sharing profits that way. But you could also have a partner program that is based on referrals. So it's really amplifying word of mouth and creating a system around that. So, if you had a copywriting business, for every person that referred someone to you, maybe it could be as simple as you take them out to lunch, or right in COVID world, maybe you send them a gift certificate for lunch or something, send them some Uber Eats. And then an affiliate program is just one aspect of that. So you could say joint venture, you could say affiliate, but to me, an affiliate program is really based around doing a product launch. And so there's a lot of partners promoting the same product at the same time. Whereas a joint venture, I know you didn't ask about joint venture, but I'm going to say it anyway. A joint venture is often either used interchangeably with affiliate, or it could mean just two people promoting one webinar, for example, and then sharing the leads from that webinar.
So walk us through your process. When a new client comes along, how do you analyze the opportunity to even know if it's worth getting involved with, or if there's something there? And then how do you go through structuring the program?
So I would say that for the work that we do, the biggest factors are if they're aligned with my values. And that includes making sure that they're getting results with whatever it is that they're selling. I think that in the start of the online world and the start of online courses and memberships, it was kind of a wild west where you could just launch something and put it out there and kind of have a subpar product and it would be fine because there wasn't that much out there. But nowadays you really need to have something that is truly transformational or gets people the results that they're purchasing. So number one is it really getting the people results? Number two, are people already referring and using word of mouth to share what you've got going on? Like if you have people asking, I mean, some of my clients or students come and they say, we've had 10 people already ask to be an affiliate, but I don't even know how to set it up. So can you help me set it up? So if that's happening, then for sure, you've got a winner there. And if you know that your product is really getting people results and they're telling people about it, then that's a pretty sure sign that it's a good one.
There's some potential there then.
Yeah, exactly.
So for an author now who doesn't have a course yet, but they've got a book, how would you handle that? Would you say, hey, let's set up a partnership program for your book? Or would you push them to launch a course that's related to the book? Or where is the biggest opportunity for authors who have a book or are about to write a book?
Yeah, I would say it depends on what your goals are with the book. I mean, looking through all the things that you do, right? It's like the foundation of where you're going with this. If you ultimately do want to have a course, then you can use your book to actually attract the right partners who would be perfect to promote your course with you, right? Because you can give them the book. Actually, someone just sent me a book who wants me to promote his course. And so I can read the book and say, yes, this is aligned, or yes, this is what I would want to teach my audience, or not. So you could use your book in that way. But if you are going to launch or publish a book, I would use partnerships to actually promote your book launch. So you may not set it up as an affiliate program, like where they're getting commissions based on your book launch, but you can still use our 4 phases to create an amazing book launch with partners.
Okay. So you mentioned these 4 phases. Tell us more about those.
Yeah. So the 4 phases could be for anything. We specifically talk about it with course and membership launches, but it could be for your book. It could be for getting more leads onto your list, for growing your podcast, anything really. But so the 4 phases are attract, activate, amplify, and appreciate. And so it goes in a circle because the more that you can appreciate, the easier it is going to be to attract people back into the cycle of partnership. So the main keys when it comes to attracting the right partners are defining what your values are. Because I will tell you from being behind the scenes of so many partner programs that an opportunity, like you said, that word is going to come around and you're going to get excited because a person is going to want to partner with you or say that they'll share. And maybe they've got, hundreds of thousands of YouTube followers, for example, or subscribers, or they've got hundreds of thousands of people on their email list. And you're going to get excited and you're going to think, well, they're like a little bit out of line with what we do, but we could make it work. Or I don't really know them that well, but it's so exciting. They have so many people. And it's happened to me and it's happened to all of my clients. And we'll get excited and we'll, go out of our way to create a partnership. But if that person promotes, we find that either it doesn't perform at all, they don't make any sales, or if they do make sales, they're not the right people for your programs, or they're not the right readers of your book because they're out of alignment. So number one of attraction is making sure that it's aligned with your values and your audience, and really, attracting the right partners.
Yeah, I've been through that myself. I did a joint venture or JV type thing where somebody had a webinar and they said, hey, you promote my webinar, I'll promote your webinar. And they had a much larger list than I had. So I thought, oh, this is going to be great, right? Because they've got so many more people on their list than I have. And when we actually did it and ran the numbers, I drove a lot more people to their webinar than they drove to my webinar. And so I grew their list a lot more than they grew my list, even though they had a list that was several times as large as mine, but it just wasn't as engaged, or it wasn't as much of a match for what my specific niche was. So that alignment is key. I've been through that. And then it's not that it costs you money necessarily to run it, but it does take a lot of time and effort to set up these webinars and do a JV partnership and go through all that. And then if the alignment isn't there, then you're like, why did I just spend all that time doing this thing? And it didn't really benefit either of us, perhaps, or maybe it only benefited them, which is great, but still, like, I need to get something out of this, right?
Totally. And that's where my personal favorite partners to work with are your students and clients, or like the mid-level range, and people that like and trust, who know, like and trust you, and who are super fans of your work, because those people will go to bat for you and they will hop on the phone. They will private message people, not in a spammy way, but just in a like, I believe in this and I think that it would be perfect for you kind of a way. So I have found that when it comes to attraction, most people get really like starstruck, but if you can start with who you already know, you will do much better.
It's interesting because as you're talking about that, I'm thinking like, who would I turn to? Like, who's in my tribe or my group that matches what you're talking about? And immediately a few names jump out. And I think, yeah, these aren't big name people with big lists, but yeah, these are the people who would go to bat for me and who would tell everybody they know about it in a very enthusiastic way. They'd be like, you've got to come listen to this or something. And so as you're talking about that, I'm thinking, yeah, I know who those people are.
Totally. And it's going to be such a more fruitful partnership. It's going to be a more fun partnership. And you really are going to get better results too with it, and get the right people in. We had a client who partnered with somebody who was religious. Actually, it was in the author space. And so it was an author who was religious and sent a lot of students through her program. And she calls her student, it's not even, it's not a derogatory term. And I don't really want to say specifically what it was because I don't want to call these people out. But she says something like, I think the word nerd in a lot of her emails. And this author's audience was super offended by it. But she says the word nerd in every single email. So that was not going to be a right fit. So it could be something as specific as that even.
All right. I'm complimented if somebody calls me a nerd. I'm like,
right? I love it.
They're not insulting my intelligence, at least.
Yes.
Okay. So the 4 phases. So you talked about attraction. That's the first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did we already go into the second one?
No, we did not yet.
Okay.
So attraction is, getting the partner, having them say, yes, I will support you. Yes, I will promote this. From the yes until when they start promoting is what we call activate. And this is a place that a lot of people skip. A lot of people will come and say, I've created an affiliate link and I've got a few people that are on board, so I'm good. I don't need what you're doing.
That's it. That's pretty much what I've done with my most recent program. Yep. I gave them the link. I'm like, all right, go do your thing.
Have fun. Yeah.
Yep.
And so you do technically have an affiliate program, if that's the case. And there's a lot of things that you could do to boost that up. So activate is between when they say yes and when they start promoting. Once someone says yes to your partner program, I'm sure that you've seen that does not mean that they are going to promote.
Right. I mean, you're lucky if they even get the link, but then they get the link, and do they actually send it out to everybody? I mean, they might send one email or post it on social media, and then they're like, well, that didn't work. I'm done.
Right.
I suspect you would say there's a little bit more to it than that.
Exactly. So in this activation phase, a great activation, you can take someone from saying like, yes, sure, I'll promote. I love what you're doing, to I am going all in because I really, really believe in this. And so we do two things during this time. So number one is we're actually training our partners on exactly how to sell for us, because not a lot of people are great salespeople. And you don't have to say, oh, I'm training you to be a salesperson. Right? I think a lot of people would be turned off by that. But I would host a group training. I would say this is like baseline step one, host a group training before your promotion and share the details, share the dates, get them excited. If you've got any prizes that they can win during your launch or during your book promotion, and strategize with them on different messaging ideas. And when they see everybody in a group also getting excited, they're going to feed off of that as well. So you're training them, and then you're also providing them with really amazing assets to make it really easy for them to promote. So if you want them to send emails, make sure you've got an email template for them. If you want them to post on social media, make sure you've got social media swipe, graphics, videos. I would think through from the perspective of a dream partner, right? And this could be for anything. It could be for a free thing that you're launching. It could be for your book. It could be for a course. But think through, like, if I were going to go to the wall with this promotion as a partner, what would I do? And make sure that you've got all of those assets right at their fingertips.
I like that you said dream partner, because it's easy for some, and I'm just thinking about myself here. So with Published Author, I set up an affiliate program through Kajabi, meaning I set up the link and I told the people who are already members of the program, hey, you can go sign up here, and if you refer people, you can get this commission. I mean, that's all I've done. And I know that there's so much more, but that's all I've had time to do so far. Yeah. So, but when you said, think of the dream partner, what I love about that is that it is so easy to say, well, most people aren't going to have a lot of time and they won't be able to do that much. So I'm just going to send a little bit out that makes it really easy for everybody to participate. But what I'm missing out on is, what if there's one person in the group who is willing to go crazy and send tons of stuff out and post a ton on social media and email their list and do all that stuff? That one person might be more valuable to my program than all the other people. But I'm trying to make it easy for all the other people instead of giving that one ideal person everything that they need to be really successful. And that would be a mistake, right?
Totally. And through your training, through people seeing that one person, go all out and get really good results. They could be inspired by that person. And most people I find who aren't actually sending emails, who aren't actually promoting, they just want you to give them exactly what they should send, and they will copy and paste it. So if you send them 5 emails, they'll send 5. If you send them 10 emails, they will send 10.
Yeah. No, I was kind of on the other end of a partner program. I guess you could call it a partner program. This past week or so, my friend Ben Hardy, he just published a book called Who Not How. And he sent out an email saying, hey, we're going to discount the book to 99 cents, the Kindle version. And so just spread the word. And so I sent out an email. I spread the word. But that's all I did. I didn't even buy a copy. I had already bought a physical copy. I was like, I don't need a Kindle version. I've already got the book. But then he sent out a second email and he said, by the way, you can buy the Kindle version for other people and you can do it in bulk. And I thought, this is only $1 a piece. That's pretty cheap to buy a book and give a book to somebody. But when somebody receives a book and it's normally a $20, $25 book, they don't even know that I only paid $1 for it. So if somebody gets a book that I sent them, that's a pretty big payoff for 99 cents. So I thought, well, I'm going to buy some of these. I'll buy them for everybody in my company. And then I thought, well, I'll buy them for all my partners. And then I thought, oh, I'll buy them for all my students and my clients. And then I was like, well, I'm just going to send a bunch of these to a bunch of other random people. And then I did a giveaway on LinkedIn. I ended up buying like 300 copies of his book because he made it so easy for me to participate in that program. I mean, I'm not even signed up as an affiliate or anything. It was just, but he made that easy. And it's kind of like you say, with give them what they need to copy and paste into an email or something like that. Well, once he showed me how to do what he wanted me to do, and he made it super, super easy, I did it. And I bought 300 copies. I don't know how many other people did that, but if a couple of other people did that, then he's going to be on the New York Times bestseller list next week.
Amazing. Yeah. And you sent me one. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, there you go.
I love that. And it also is a mistake to think that, like, if you are dealing with people that are good at marketing, like you are good at marketing, Josh, and yet you were like, oh, I don't really know what I'm going to do with this promotion. So I think the other thing is think about your dream partner and think about how to remind them of what they already know. Like, you know how to make book sales, but don't be afraid of putting like, buy this for everyone you know, or whatever you want them to do specifically, because I've been on strategy calls with partners that they will generate $1 million for themselves in commission through their partner program. And they're like, wait, what's an affiliate bonus? Like, don't be afraid of going back to basics with what you're training them.
Yeah. And it's not that the partners are stupid or anything.
Right.
It's
No,
they're busy though. And
exactly.
It's like Seth Godin has that book, Don't Make Me Think. It's like, yeah, if you make me think, then I'm not going to do it because I'm just too busy. I'm running from one thing to the next. But if you say, here's something you can do and it's super easy and super cheap or free, and you can do this and get this outsized result and just copy and paste this thing and stick it in an email and send it out. Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll do it. But I think sometimes we as the creators of these partner programs, we underestimate how easy we need to make it to make the difference between people doing it and not doing it. And it has to be really, really easy. So I'm really glad that you're emphasizing this.
For sure. I think that oftentimes we don't do that because we have this mindset block around, well, number one, asking for help in general, right? We have this like independent, I have to do it myself mindset. And then number two, we think that it's people doing us a favor. And in reality, you are also doing your partners a favor by allowing them to either create deeper relationships with their customers and partners like you did when you gifted the book to everybody, or make more revenue for their companies through offering a proven product, which you have. I was at a mastermind session last week, and my mentor, Kate Northrup, she turned to me and she was like, what you do is so important, because she was like, I didn't have a product to sell for 10 years. And I was able to like quickly make more money than I ever thought was possible through promoting Marie Forleo's B School. She was like, I would never have the business that I have today. And she started crying, thinking about that impact that Marie let her create income through promoting B School. So I want you to remember, if you're like, oh, but like people, you know, I don't want to bug people with promoting my stuff, like you're giving them a gift and they're giving you a gift in return. Like we call it the quadruple win, because you win, your partners win, your audience is going to learn, or their audience is going to learn about something they would not have otherwise. You know, you have a transformational book or product, so it needs to get in the hands of more people. And then when you're able to do that, everybody has more money, more time, more love, whatever it is that you're helping people do. And that is going to change the world. So I always talk about how partnerships change the world.
Right. It's not a zero-sum game. We can all win. Everybody
Exactly.
can leave this transaction benefiting from it. So does that finish up phase 2, or is there more to phase 2 before we go to phase 3?
No, I think the other thing I want to say about phase 2 that's important is in the assets, it's also important to remember that you're making it easy for them and you're helping them really frame your product idea and reminding them of what's included and what's not. Because I don't know if you've ever gotten a referral for a coaching client or something that it was just framed incorrectly. I remember talking with Todd, and he said that sometimes people will text him intros to people who are looking for high level coaching with him, but they haven't told those intros, yeah, working with Todd costs $80,000. So these people are expecting something to be like really cheap or free. So the assets can also help your partners really frame your offer.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the next phase is amplify. So that's actually during your promotion. And there are so many tactics that you can use in here. You can have a Facebook group to pump people up. You can, Voxer message. You can create prizes and contests and have a lot of fun. And all of those are super valid, awesome. I do all of them. And the biggest thing I found that you need to remember is that there's a lot of mindset blocks that happen in a promotion. I don't know if you have ever had a mindset block when you're making sales of your own products, Josh.
Maybe once or twice, yeah. Or every
Just
day. One of those
every
two.
day. Like, and launching can be a roller coaster. If you're using a launch model, like, I I sent a Voxer that I'll play often for my students. I think it was like on day 2 of a launch back in May. And I was just, you can tell, I was like, I'm in despair. Like, we're not hitting our numbers. And the next day I was on top of the world. Right? That's what happens during launches for our own stuff. And so we have to remember that our partners are also going to run into mindset blocks. And the way that I find this comes up is they're going to ask a lot of questions, or they're going to ghost, or they're going to say, oh, I don't want to bother people with emails. So it's really helping them through their mindset blocks as well.
Cool.
And then the final phase is appreciate. And you would be surprised at how many issues can come up with making payouts on time. So that's like base level appreciation. But there's so many things that you can do to nurture and love up on your partners in between promotions, or if they've promoted your book and now you want them to get on board to promote your course that you're going to be releasing after your book launch, and just keeping that going. I would say the number one thing is to have some kind of a celebration or a closing ceremony after your promotion. Like, if you've got a ton of people that are supporting your book and then your book launches, it can feel like all this energy and all this excitement, and they're connecting with you, and they're selling and making referrals, and then it's just over, and it's like, well, what's going on? So give them updates. Like, how is the book doing? Right? I would hope that your friend is going to tell you if the results of the launch.
Exactly, because it's fun to be a part of that. It's fun to, he actually did send out a note from his publisher who was saying, wow, you've blown past our expectations and all this. And it's fun to see that email. And I know that's going out to 50,000 other people, but it's fun to see that and say, I had a part in that. Like, I was part of that. I didn't make all that happen, but I made a tiny part of that happen. And that is fun.
Totally. Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. So appreciation. So with some thought leader, course creator, author type people like Amy Porterfield and Stu McLaren, they do a launch once a year. They open enrollment. Everybody can sign up for a week or two, and then they close it, and then they don't open it for another year, which allows them to build a lot of anticipation. And plus, I've got to sign up right now because it's going to close, and then I'm going to have to wait a whole year to sign up, which is exactly what happened to me with Stu McLaren and Amy Porterfield. And I got into Amy Porterfield's this year, but I wanted to get in last year and I just missed it because I didn't make up my mind. And then Stu McLaren's, I decided like 2 days after he closed enrollment, I was like, you know what? I need to do this. Oh, dang it, it's closed. And so I have to wait till next year. So they do it that way. But a lot of other people have open enrollment year round. So they don't have perhaps that same urgency, but do you feel like these partner programs, launch programs work equally well with whether it's annual enrollment or quarterly or open enrollment? Is that a huge factor, or can this type of stuff work with anybody?
So the 4 phases can work with any with any type of sales cycle. I'd say that the traditional affiliate launch that we've been talking about with you've got one training where everybody's on, and then there's this promotional period where you can have a Facebook group and have all this excitement around it, like Amy and Stu do so well. Those are definitely more geared toward, a one time a year or a couple time a year open enrollment period. But there are definitely ways that you can use a partner program with an ongoing membership or a software membership. Even we have a student right now that has a done for you IT security membership. And so he's going to kick it off with a launch. And I would recommend that anybody do that, just so that you're kind of forced to create your assets and do a training and like do the whole process and see it from start to finish. And then you can, see how you can weave it in on a more evergreen basis, right? Like they say, don't put a course on evergreen until you've launched it. So I would say like kick it off with a partner program, or kick a partner program off with a launch can be really fun, right? It's like you don't just write a book and then publish it and expect a number of sales to come in. You want to kickstart it with a grand entrance into the world. And then once you have that, there's definitely ways that you can work in like one-off partnerships. That would be more of a JV experience, or like you did with the person that you mentioned, where you each promoted each other's webinars. You don't have to have it be reciprocal. It could be one-off promotions with different people. You could also do cool things. So like Chris, our student who has the IT membership, that is such a great thing to get on the onboarding sequence for an OBM, for example. So anytime an OBM is going to work with a client, so an online business manager is onboarding a new client, they can say, oh, and you should sign up for Chris's IT membership because he's going to take care of the security of your computer. So things like that. Amy Porterfield is I think the number 1 or number 2 partner for Kajabi, because she's using Kajabi for her platforms, constantly talking about Kajabi. Kajabi, of course, does not have a launch. Like you can sign up for Kajabi at any time.
Right. So, of course, there are things we can do. I mean, we can do a launch anytime, but then we can add urgency by offering discounts or other things like that as well. What are some of the tips or tricks that you've seen that can accompany a launch event that do help it to really thrive? Like, I mean, creating urgency. What are some of the ways that you've seen that people create urgency that are creative or that have worked really well? Or what are some other tips and tricks that you can pass along to us?
Definitely so many. So, and I will say too, back to the other question about launches versus evergreen options, that the excitement and bigness of what you see when like everybody's promoting B-School, although she's shutting down her affiliate program, or everybody's promoting Digital Course Academy, you can't really replicate that with a non-launch. Like, it could be a trickle. If you've got one-on-one clients, you could, fill up your wait list every month with smaller promotions, but that kind of big promotion is not going to happen. Like I know even Amy herself, I was working with her partnerships manager, who I trained in. Is not like she's their full-time person. And she was trying to get List Builder Society, which is on Evergreen, up and running with that partner program. And it really wasn't working, because if something is available all the time, as we know, it's going to fall to the bottom of the priorities for partners in particular. So if you do want to create a launch event with partners, I would host a group training so that they really know, okay, we're kicking this off together. I would create a partner Facebook group so they have a place to gather. It can be a pop-up group during your launch. You can do behind the scenes updates, right? Everybody loves to get behind the scenes of the launch and see what's really going on. You can definitely do contests for leads, contests for sales. I also really love having ladder prizes so that it's not just who's on the leaderboard, but it's like a competition with yourself. So you could say, okay, if you make 5 sales, you're going to unlock this prize. If you make 10 sales, you're going to unlock this prize.
So you kind of gamify it a little bit.
Totally. Yeah. And we'll send champagne to the people that have the most leads at different points in the launch. For Selena's next launch, we've scheduled a champagne toast right before cart open. with the partners, a celebration afterward, and just things to keep people engaged and make it fun. There's also, like for Selena is all out, but there's trainings right up through the launch on mindset, on bonus packages, on storytelling, on personal outreach, on Instagram. Like it's like a whole course in and of itself.
I'm sure there are a lot of people listening to this and they're thinking, like I'm kind of thinking, this sounds great. I want to do this. This is awesome, but this sounds like a lot of work and I'm already busy and I don't have that much time, but I can't afford to hire somebody full time like Amy Porterfield does. So what do I do? I mean, I assume people can work with you and you can come in and do this as a program, as a consultant. But tell us a bit more about how you work with clients and what other options people might have.
Yeah, I would say that you can definitely hire somebody to just work your launch and to manage that part of your partner program. And in that case, I would be really looking for somebody, it's like a seasonal student support. So if you only run your course and it's 12 weeks long, you're going to hire someone to really support those students for those 12 weeks. And you could do the same thing, but they're going to be supporting your partner. So I would look for someone with a very similar skill set. So they're empathetic, they can answer questions quickly, great customer support and service, except for they're going to do partner support and service. They're going to be able to cheerlead them on, pull reports, and do all that. So you could hire a part-time VA most definitely for that aspect of your launch. That person is a different skill set than the attraction and like going out and finding all the partners for you. So I have found that clients in the past, when we would do it for people, would really want somebody that it's just going to get partners for them. And I would recommend that if you're just getting started, start with who you already know, and you need to reach out and individually ask them because those people are going to go to bat for you. And then as you scale and grow, and if you are looking for people to support you with attracting the right partners, then you could hire someone with more of a sales background.
So what are the first steps that somebody could take on their own? I mean, setting up the affiliate program like I did and giving people the link, that's a first step that people can do on their own. But what might be the next 2 or 3 steps that somebody would need to take perhaps on their own in order to then get to the point where, okay, now we're generating revenue from this partnership program, which then justifies me to go out and invest in actually bringing somebody on, whether it's a consultant or somebody full-time or somebody part-time to help out with it. Yeah. What are those first steps?
The first steps, I would say, so if you've, created the links and already invited people, then I would get started with a really simple training. You could just host it on Zoom and ask people what their goals are for how many sales they want to make. Ask people what assets they would like you to create, so you don't create things that they're not going to use. So you could literally just say, hey, Josh, like if you're going to send an email to your audience about my program, what would you love to have? What would make this really easy for you? And you would tell me, and I can create that for you. So I don't think that that's going to add a ton of work to your plate, but is going to allow you to make those initial referral sales.
Great. Now, again, with somebody who's an author listening to this, and they might say, I don't really want to launch a course. I've just got my book, but I want to get my book out there in a big way and spread it as far as I can. What are some specific ways that they might be able to do that? Do you have any stories of authors who have done partnership programs without having all this other stuff that they could sell, but just the book? Do you have any stories you can tell us about successful partner programs that authors have implemented?
Totally. So Todd Herman, actually, that was the first project I worked with him on, was the launch of his Alter Ego Effect book. And so we created a promo guide. Well, so I guess I didn't mention that as part of activation. So we not only create Swipe, but we also have, it's just a little marketing guide on like how to sell this essentially. So it's like the training, but in a PDF, or not in a PDF, in a Google Doc form. So we created a guide. We had templates of how people could share the book. We also suggested that people do just like your friend did, do bulk purchases, and you'll unlock these different prizes and really generate a lot of buzz around it. We also had a private Facebook group they were just supporters of the book. And so we were cheering them on and telling them behind the scenes of how the launch was going, because that's so fun to know, like you said, that you're a part of, his run to getting on the Wall Street Journal bestselling list and getting those updates behind the scene. So I think that it doesn't have to be with all the bells and whistles, but you can do a lot with a book launch for sure.
Cool. Awesome. Well, this time has flown by. Thank you so much, Laura, for being on the show with us today. Where's the best place for people to learn about you and what you do?
Yeah. So you can go to laurasprinkle.com, and then we have a partnerships bootcamp so we can teach you how to create referrals and start getting partnerships into your business model.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Laura. And of course, we'll include links to Laura's site and her social media profiles and everything else in the show notes. Thank you so much, Laura. Have a great day.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to spread the word, please give us a 5-star rating review and tell your friends to subscribe too. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you listen to podcasts. And if you're an entrepreneur interested in writing and publishing a nonfiction book to grow your business and make an impact, visit publishedauthor.com for show notes for this podcast and other free resources.